Hello, and welcome to an agricultural episode of the Drywall Podcast. I'm your host, once again, Nick Harmon. With us today, we have another 2-for-1 episode on the Drywall Podcast. Drywall Jessie and Mike Dries of Dries Drywall, who recently did the pilgrimage to Albuquerque, New Mexico to help yours truly on a large Fresco Harmony project. We talk about that experience. We talk about working with the product Mud Skip for the first time and how they both got into the trades. There was also the topic of Jessie's beard that came up at one point during the discussion.
I got a question for Jessie.
Yeah, let's hear it. I love it.
How long did it take for you to grow that damn beard out?
That's a great question.
It's been about a year and a half now.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Not bad. And how does the girlfriend / fiance like the beard?
Oh, she don't mind.
She don't mind.
No.
Yeah.
Or I can't cut it off because then everybody think I'm too young.
Right. Jessie and Mike are just fantastic, and I consider both to be my friends, and you might too after listening to this, the 127th episode of the Drywall Podcast. Also, I want to give a warm shout out to our friends at Columbia Tools. Columbia steps up to the plate once again in the month of April with their third sponsorship of the Drywall Podcast since we started, and we appreciate them for that. It's because of sponsors like Columbia Tools that I get to do this each week, so kudos. Drywall finishers, listen up. If you want the highest quality taping tools made right here in North America, you need to check out Columbia Tools. Since 1979, they've been building tools that last, designed to make taping easy. From automatic tapers to their brand new premium hand tools, including, but not limited to, joint knives, trowels, hawks, and mud pans, Columbia is always innovating and always pushing the trade forward. Now, they're hitting the road. Columbia Tools takes a little road trip traveling across selected states and provinces in their brand new Columbia Tools RV. I've seen it. It's sweet. Bringing tools, demos, and giveaways straight to your door. If you missed them at the Build 25 show, you'll have lots of opportunities to see them. Follow Columbia Tools on all your favorite platforms to see where they're headed next. And check out your favorite tools in action. The best tools, the smoothest finish. Columbia Tools, making taping tools easy since 1979. Check out my interview with Aaron and Elliot of Columbia Tools all the way back on episodes 23 and 26 and discover how Columbia came to be the powerhouse that they are. But for now, Jessie Loss of Drywall Jessie and Mike Dries of Dries Drywall on the 127th episode of the Drywall Podcast. Let's get into it. We have Mike Dries and Jessie Loss of Drywall _Jessie and Dries Drywall. Boom. I got the hat. I had to steal this hat from Mike off his head. I like it though. It's a good one, man.
Already broken.
Fine Touch Taping. Yeah, it was already broke in. And then representing the Fine Touch Taping. Shout out to Faith, Baelish, and Tyler up there in Canada, freezing their asses off. We salute you. Cool. So we have a twofer today on the Drywall Podcast. I'll be shouting out questions to you guys, and a lot of time I'll preface it with Mike or Jessie because a lot of people listen to the Drywall Podcast. So if I'm like asking a question and somebody's answering, they may not know which person it is. Some questions will be for the both of you guys. I wanted to have both of you on the Drywall Podcast because you both came down. You're one of a select few pioneers to do the pilgrimage down to Albuquerque. We worked on a project together. I was blessed to have you guys here working on that project. I just talked with Stacy. She's like, I guess he ended up doing those vents himself. She's like, oh, he spackled them. I was like, okay. I don't give a shit. She's like, can I have a little bit of product? Like, she's all gun shy now. She's like, I'll pay for it. And I'm like, man, you missed the conversation, Stacy. Don't worry about it. But great clients. They probably did north of $50,000 worth of fresco. You guys got to see that monstrosity. The whole thing's finished in sanded Patterson snow. And to give everyone, just to give our listeners a background of how we know each other. And also, we use Mudskip for the first time on that project, so we could talk a little bit about that. It was a preliminary run through. It was really difficult. I'm still using Mudskip, and I've had some revelations since you guys worked with it. Well, let's back up. Mike, I met first in Las Vegas. You came to the Vegas show with Chad, and that was a pretty good time. So that was maybe 2 years now that we've known each other. Jessie, I met at the Effingham job, and I was thinking about it. You know what's unique about that job is that's the first time I'd worked with Drywall Jessie, and the last time that I worked with Cam. That day. So that day holds a special place in my heart, man. And you and I got to run the box all day. I don't know if Chad was like seeing what I was made of or whatever, but I was trying to show off to Chad too. Whatever. and for the record, it was you and me in the middle area upstairs, and it was Drywall Danny and Sean and Cam were downstairs, and I feel like we beat them. We were faster. Yeah, they were doing they were fuddling about doing their social media stuff, and we were working like we were supposed to, and so I consider us to be the winners in that scenario.
I'm pretty sure I was sleeping up on the scaffold.
Mike was picking daisies on the scaffold. Time farming, we call that down here in New Mexico. He was time farming.
Correct.
Just raking in the dollars.
Yep.
Very, very cool. So we'll talk a little bit about the project down here. We'll talk about you guys. Now, have you guys known each other for a long time? You're both out of, you're in, are you in Dietrich, Mike?
Yeah, just outside of it.
Dietrich, Illinois. And then, Jessie, where are you from?
Wayne City.
Wayne City, and that's also Illinois. And recently we got Fresco Harmony product into Nieberge, but everybody says Nieberge out of Dietrich, Illinois. And now you guys have a place to get Fresco Harmony. Hopefully that's been convenient for you guys to be able to go and grab color packs and color charts or whatever you need there. And you're selling it. You guys are like crushing it in that area for whatever reason. Maybe it's because you came down here and worked with me. Maybe it's because of Chad. I don't know. We'll dig in, see what you guys are doing to sell Fresco Harmony a little bit. But Jessie, how did you get into this crazy trade?
Well, it started with a girlfriend's stepdad.
Oh, man.
Way back in the day. Said, I'm going to teach you how to do something, and you won't have to worry about finding a job again.
And he was right.
He was right.
Who was that?
His name was Mark Suter.
Mark Suter.
Yep.
That's pretty funny.
Yep.
And he showed you the ropes. Ex-girlfriend, you're not with her anymore.
No.
You've been with your wife for a long time now, right?
Yep. 16, going on 17 years.
Not bad. Not bad. And you guys are married. You're married up.
No, not married.
No. No.
Just
Why haven't you put a ring on it, buddy? What's going on?
well, it's got a ring on it. We just ain't did the wedding stuff yet.
All right. All right. He's time farming in his own way. Very good. And Mr. Dries, you're Mike's younger. How old are you, Mike?
27.
27. That is on the lower end of the spectrum for the Drywall Podcast. And you are currently single, looking to mingle. This guy's out there. He's in Illinois. Ladies, watch out.
Hey, that's changed as of recently. So
we'll have to edit. We'll have to edit a little bit.
you can leave it in. You can leave it in. It's fine.
You got a little Philly down there.
Yep.
Nice. Nice. So new beginnings.
Yep.
That's exciting and scary a little bit.
Yes, it is.
You got to watch out. Those girls are rascal. They're rascals, especially in that area that you're in. Those girls are really rascally.
This one's good. This one's good.
Excellent. I think you were newer when I met you. I'm a little fuzzy on the timeline, but were you working with Chad at the time? But you've really blossomed, I'll say, in the drywall space in the last couple of years, or at least since I knew you, because I met you, I felt like you were like a rookie, or like you were kind of like tagging along to kind of, see some new stuff with Chad, and it was all really new to you. Both you guys, it was your first time to Vegas. You got shit-faced.
Yeah. Yes, I did.
You guys,
those margaritas were good and they were free, so
and strong. They make them strong in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
I remember that being a fantastic time. So, how long had you been doing drywall when we met in Las Vegas?
probably like 2 years, but I had done it all hand finishing. So
Okay.
I was actually cutting wood with my dad, and Chad called me, and I was like, who's this other drywaller? Stubbornness out of the drywall industry. And then
Yeah.
I was wanting to learn the bazooka, and Chad's like, yeah, well, you come over and do a couple jobs with me, and I can teach you how to run it. And yeah, it took me a couple of jobs to learn, and then he kept giving me tips and tricks, and just on like even the boxes and everything. And so then from there, it was always asking questions and being open to learning stuff. And yeah, I'm always trying to ask questions to learn. So
yeah. I feel like Chad's kind of a visionary in that regard, because most people wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to teach this person how to do drywall. It kind of, but he like sees it. He sees like, oh, it doesn't only help Mike, it helps me because I can give jobs to Mike, or I can use Mike if I have a big job. I can pull Mike and Jessie in. He's really smart like that. And even like getting the Fresco Harmony kiosk into Dietrich, it's like, why would you want to show other people how to do Fresco Harmony in your area? But really, it kind of spreads the word. And I really, I see him as a visionary in that regard. He's really forward thinking.
Yeah, I mean, he's making money off of me, and I'm making money myself, so it's a win-win for both of us. And I get to learn from, I would consider, one of the best in the area. So I mean, he's knocking houses out left and right in this area. So.
Yeah, and he's a very good finisher. Jessie, you've worked with when did you start working with Chad?
Well, I started following him on, I think it was Facebook a few years ago. I was actually thinking about asking him for a job and decided to just do it on my own.
Yeah.
And about a year later, he just messaged me one day and asked if I wanted to get together and meet and help on a job, and that's how it's been going.
Okay.
Something's been going on, and he calls, and I come help.
So you were considering going to work for him, but you were who were you working with when you were making these considerations?
I was working for a guy over in Indiana.
Okay.
And we just wasn't getting along. That guy over there had 9 finishers and a hanging crew that worked for him.
Okay.
It was just too much running around. That guy does over probably 150 jobs a year.
Yeah. Why didn't you like that setup?
I was having to haul everyone around. It was either haul everyone around and fix their work or go do stuff by myself. And I just decided I was going to stay by myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that a challenging transition for you to go from working with this guy then to going by yourself?
Not really, because I had started doing side jobs while I was working for him. So I'd come home in the evening and go do another house on my own.
Okay. Yeah.
Get up in the morning, go over there. So by the time I got tired of working over there, I already had my own work to do.
Okay. That's the natural progression. The natural progression is to, kind of start getting side jobs. And then sometimes you got a cool boss too. They'll kind of show you the ropes, teach you a little bit, and then realize, kind of like Chad, realize that, if you're a pro in my area, because also too, if you're listening, this is a sparse area. I mean, a lot of driving. There's not, you don't just go do a job in your back. Kind of like Albuquerque, everything's crunched into one little spot. There's enough people here to sustain. You can get anywhere in 25 minutes. It's kind of nice that way. But in your area, it's spread out. So there's a lot of driving, not a lot of finishers.
No, jobs are about an hour away from each other. So
you're
not wanting to go work on one for a while, then go to another one. You pretty much do all you can at one job and then go to the other one the next day or whatever.
Right. So, Mike, you come back from Las Vegas and you're like, screw Chad. I'm inspired now. I saw all this cool stuff. Fresco Harmony included. That was the only time that I've done a national show. We had a booth there. It was pretty sweet. You helped out in the booth, you and Chad. What was your takeaway from that show? That was the AWCI show. I want to say 23.
I think it was 23.
Yeah.
I thought it was incredible. I've never been in a building so big. That was my takeaway. And I thought it was cool. It felt like everybody was friendly. Nobody thought that they were up here and we were down here. Or I was down there. And I don't know. It was fun just watching you sell it. I was just standing back and I was like, this guy's like fucking incredible at selling this.
Oh, thanks, man.
But yeah, it was cool. And then like Chad, he knows a lot of people on Instagram. So he's sitting there, he's saying, that's so-and-so on Instagram. That's so-and-so. And I'm like, pulling Instagram up. I'm like, can you slow down, please? I'm trying to look all these people up. And it was cool to see the new products and what people had. And I like the actual hands-on demonstrations of stuff that you could do. I remember they had the 3-way stuff going on and they actually let you do it and stuff. So that was cool.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to go into it this year. So
yeah, it'll be fun this year. Hopefully, I think I'm going to be at the Mudskip booth, just kind of doing my deal. In my theory is like we get a board, if we can, some type of board where we show tape, bed coat, second coat, and then take the 3 Fresco Harmony processes. Like all wet, like take the whole thing, tape to like sealer and see how that goes. I don't know if we'll be able to do that, but shoot, man, maybe we could just cut couple pieces of sheetrock in half and, have at it. But I think I'll just be at the booth. I'll have my Fresco shirt on and just be playing in the mud or showing off mud skip or whatever. It's Jessie. Are you going to the Build 25?
Yep, got my tickets, got our house set up, everything
Nice.
ready to go.
You're not staying at the Airbnb.
No, me and my lady's got one of our own.
There
It's
you
only
go.
about 10 minutes. It's only about 10 minutes away though. So
Okay. Cool. And you're gonna are you gonna do anything after the show? Are you gonna drive down to Florida or
no, we're gonna stay around there for about a week. Yep. We'll be there
Cool.
from the 31st till the 4th.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna use that as a little vacation. What about you,
Yeah.
Mike?
I'm going to be coming straight back. I'll have a hanging crew, hanging a house, and it'll be ready for me whenever I get back. So we're going to just fly straight back Thursday.
Okay.
Get back to work.
So Jessie, when did you first hear about Fresco Harmony? You've been doing a couple of jobs. You come onto the scene. Was that through Chad?
Actually, I'd been looking at it on my own already. Probably before I even knew Chad, I'd already been looking at it. And
Where?
I'd seen it on Facebook or something.
Okay.
And what I do first, I did my daughter's room first. I did that before I even met Chad.
Did we talk when you did that? Did I send you a sample pack or anything?
Yes, I got a sample pack.
Okay.
And then it was probably 6 months after that before I even used it.
Yeah, people request a sample pack. I send them a sample pack. I tell them to make a sample and post it on social media. They never post on social media, and they generally don't get to it for 6 to 4 years. It sits on their shelf. They just look at it.
Yeah, I ended up ordering some other colors to go with it, and we did her room 2 different colors. And,
cool. What colors did you use in her room?
We did 3 walls of Mindy's Mint and
Nice.
and the Merriman Beige on the other wall.
Okay. All right. Very cool. I bet that looks cool. And then what was your initial reaction to working with the product?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
I loved it right off the bat. Yep. Covered
Very
up
cool.
all that ugly texture in there. It wasn't really ugly. I did a tree pattern and texture up her wall and on their ceiling.
Okay.
Ended up she was too old for that and needed it covered up.
Was it like a stencil?
No, it was I just did a stop texture on the ceiling, kind of make it look like
Oh,
tree bush,
cool.
and
Neat.
then rolled mud up on her closet, up in the corner on the closet walls, and made
Okay.
3-part pattern on it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So then after that, you were like, oh man, I can sell this stuff. Because you've done a handful of jobs up there.
Most of them I've done has been with Chad. I've done my house, her bedroom, and then I've done another whole house, and I've got one coming up to do fireplace.
Okay. Nice. Nice.
But
And
a lot
what are
of
you
this-
charging? What are you charging for the fireplaces? Like, do you have a minimum? Have we talked about that?
No, not really.
Not really.
No.
What are you charging? You got a standard fireplace, new build.
Yeah, I'm not real sure.
Well, tell them after you get done, be like, that's going to be $4,000. I know we forgot. I forgot to mention that's the extra 4,000.
Yeah, I'm hanging the job and finishing it all too and everything. So just a fireplace of some frescoes, not really much more to add on to it.
Nice. And in a scenario like that, it could be like, hey, man, I'm doing the job. We'll throw in some fresco for you. It could be like that too. It's that easy. But
Tell your
cool.
friends.
Right.
Yeah.
You came. So Mike came back. You had all this intel. You had all this energy from the show, and maybe you start branching out more on your own at that point when you get back from Las Vegas.
Yeah. I mean, I went through a tough time. I was transitioning from doing it all by hand and then trying to teach myself how to do the boxes, teach myself how to do the bazooka. And so that was a tough time. And my buddy, his brother owns a construction company, and they quit using me. And I was like, man, what, you guys got anything for me to do? And then they're like, yeah, but we're using Chad. And I was like, who's Chad? And then Chad ended up calling me. And so then I learned from Chad, and I told my buddy, I said, I know I fucked up. Like, I've gotten a lot better from 2 years ago to now. I said, whenever you guys want to give me another chance, let me know. I'll make it right with you. So,
why they get rid of you and go over to Chad?
I think it was just the time that it took me to do it. And
fair enough.
So
you're still kind of you were green a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I know I was young and I was doing it for the money, and so I could go out on the weekend and buy drinks from all my buddies. But
there you go.
I've grown past that to where now I care about what it looks like and get in, get out, make sure it looks good.
Yeah.
And so then whenever I went to Vegas, I felt a little more comfortable selling the Fresco, but I'll tell you, after the Albuquerque, Chad and I talked, and I said, I feel 100% selling the Fresco, especially learning tips and tricks from you and Albuquerque, and seeing a project like that go underway and be finished. It really, really helped me seal the deal on selling it.
Yeah, you guys did a fantastic job. I threw you to the wolves. So if you want to come down to Albuquerque and work with me, I'll probably really kick your ass as far as where it goes. We'll throw you to the dogs. You guys did probably the biggest ceiling that we've ever done. It was a monster. Probably how many boxes of mud did we use on the base coat? I think it was 13.
Yeah, I think it was 13.
And we had Jay Delk. Poor Jay Delk came down. He was just coming down for fun, go look at the studio, make a sample, play around. I was like, oh no, today you're working, buddy.
Surprise.
Jay's crushing it with Fresco Harmony as well. He continues to do really well with it, and great guy. We had a lot of fun. He didn't have to do the hard lifting like you guys did, but I managed to get in there and do a little bit of that lid. It was a lot of fun. I'll admit I had fun with you guys.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, it was a pretty good time. What would you say, both you guys? What would you say your biggest takeaway from? And we'll go back to Mike's story about Fresco. Maybe Jessie. Jessie's sort of a little farther ahead in the timeline. But what would you say your biggest takeaway is from the coming to Albuquerque and working with me and learning about Fresco Harmony firsthand, Jessie?
I guess about the coating over wet stuff. I was always worried about coating over stuff while it's still wet.
Okay.
And learned we ain't got to worry about that so much.
Well, I think part of that was the mud skip too. So to back up, we were using mud skip was nice enough to send me a bunch of that product, which touts that you can go wet over wet. And we were using it. I think we were using Quickset. We were using Quickset a lot. I remember one patch, Jay was going to do a patch, and I was like, he was gonna I forget, but it had to be taped. He was going to stop and get the Quickset and everything. We were doing the base coat, and I was like, Jay, just tape that while we do the base coat. It'll, if we have to back up and hit it again before the second coat, we can. And so it's sort of exploring all of the benefits. Mike, what was your takeaway?
My takeaway was how you can transform a house and make it from $100,000 house to making it look like a $250,000 house on the inside. I mean, yeah. I thought it was, and the bathroom, the master bath, doing all those patches and how it looked from the beginning.
Yeah.
In 4 days, it's ready for flooring and all that is just unbelievable. It was mind blowing.
Yeah,
Yep.
and like no paint. Like it was ready. Robbie, get back in there. Yeah, you're up.
Yeah,
Robbie didn't want to go back.
yeah.
If you're listening, Robbie was the tile guy, and he was scheduled to start tile on the floor on Monday. And I was like, "Hey, Robbie, we got Mike and Jessie here. Why don't you jump out of there? You guys were here for a couple more days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday." I was like, "Get the hell out of there and let these guys finish in there." And I think you prepped. Did you prep the patches? I think on Sunday or Saturday or Sunday, you went in and prepped everything. So you taped and one coated all the and this bathroom was littered with patches. I mean, it's almost like rip it out and just rehang it. It was so bad. So there was patches everywhere that you guys. So you prepped all that, tape and one coat, and then Monday base coat, Fresco.
Yep.
So that's just such a huge time saver. You're not doing the multiple coats, the sanding, like all that stuff. So, and you were using the mud skip in the bathroom as well. Did you speak freely too? I know we had, difference of opinion on the mud skip. What was your opinion of the mud skip? Also, I've talked with the mud skip people too, using the sand, because this was all sand Fresco Harmony in both those instances. Jessie, what was your sort of, because I wasn't working with the mud skip, you guys were mostly, I did a little bit and I was like, I can kind of tell, but it wasn't until recently using the conditioner that I've really noticed like a difference. And sometimes you have to like vet a product a little bit before you have to work with it a little bit. Jessie, what was your take using the mud skip?
Well, I wasn't real sure of it at first, but then afterwards, thinking about it, that first base coat with the mud skip in it sure did cover that texture up very well.
Yeah, it did. There was a lot less movement than the other parts of the house. We were pulling it smoother. But yeah, it's set up, like the mud set up a little bit, but we were covering a heavy knockdown texture on that ceiling, which is part of why it took 13 buckets of mud.
Yeah.
Like this ceiling was 2,000 square feet. It was huge. Like it was as big as a house. Very cool. So what about you, Mike?
I'm in the same boat as Jessie. At first I was like, yeah, I can't really tell a difference. But then thinking back on it, it covered that texture. And when you say a heavy texture, I mean, that texture could have been on my 600-pound life. That's how thick it was.
Yeah.
And it covered it very well, and you could make a design with it pretty easily for a first coat versus just regular box mud with nothing in it.
Okay.
That's my takeaway on it. I thought it actually worked pretty well.
Yeah, and then I've been finding that like it works better like if I'm wanting to go into the sealer right away and it's not fully cured, the second coat, because it's like it's drier, it's holding up better, and then when you put on that second coat, like it's just more cured, just more stable, which has been kind of interesting. The other interesting factor that I've found is that it won't get funky. Like my mud will go like it's we use the last batch of mud. That Patterson that you guys finished, that bucket I still have in my garage. I opened it up just the other day, and that's been a month and a half. I was expecting it. You just get a sense when you work with it as much as I have in the past of how it's going to be. It's going to be funky, a little funky in there. None of that. Like there's a chemical or something in the mud skip that prevents it from molding, and it's keeping it good. Because I like ran my knife around, I was like, wow, this mud is still just like it was mixed yesterday. So that was interesting to me too. Do you guys have anything that you want to talk about that you are thinking about talking about on the Drywall Podcast? Go.
I got a question for Jessie.
Yeah, let's hear it. I love it.
How long did it take for you to grow that damn beard out?
That's a great question.
It's been about a year and a half now.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Not bad. And how does the girlfriend slash fiance like the beard?
Oh, she don't mind.
She don't mind.
Don't mind. No.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't
Good.
cut it off because then everybody will think I'm too young.
Right. Yeah, if you shave that thing, they'll think you're as old as Mike.
Yeah.
Oh boy. And Mike, I was gonna say that, maybe you're not spending as much money in the bars buying drinks for your friends, but now that you have a girlfriend, you're still gonna have to maintain that money, that income, because their girlfriends can be expensive.
I'm not going to the bars. I'm doing
it.
75 hard again starting Monday.
That's crazy. Tell me about the 75 hard.
75 hard, it's a mental transformation, and it helps with your physical part too.
Yeah.
It's 2 workouts a day. One has to be outside, and they can't be back to 45 minutes each.
Okay.
Drink
Love it.
a gallon of water. Take a progress picture every day. Be on a diet. For me, I'm trying to put on some weight.
Okay.
So I'll do a diet according to that and read 10 pages of a nonfiction book every day.
Beautiful. Which book are you starting out with?
I've read Rich Dad Poor Dad, but I haven't read it for a couple of years, so I'll probably start out with that and get through that real quick. And then I've got a couple books that I've looked on Amazon that I'm going to order. I don't know what they are off the top of my head, but
okay.
Yeah. I might reread Crush It by Gary Vee, and
there you go. So then all of our worlds collided one fine day in Effingham. We had a project with Chad. Chad did a bunch of I guess promotion. I don't know. I wasn't gonna go. He sort of wrangled me, bought my plane ticket. How did you guys get involved with that?
He just asked if we'd be interested in helping him out with a huge job, and he's going to get a whole bunch of people to come in and help. And
yeah,
I'm down for it.
Yeah.
So
it was
pretty much same with him.
It was pretty cool. Aside from the tragedy, it was what a great day. I mean, I got there. You guys had already worked together one day. When I got there, it was just such a fun day, and not even doing fresco, just doing regular drywall, hanging out, the camaraderie. Trimtex was there. I think Adriana came and did some videoing, so that was kind of cool. And USG did some sponsorship, and it was just a really great day. I'm glad I got to share that experience with you guys and get to be there with Cam on his last day. It's really special. It was special and horrible at the same time. How did you guys? I mean, sort of after the fact, moving on. I know, Jessie, you helped out a little bit. I mean, you don't have to get into the nuts and bolts of it, but how was that? Moving forward from that experience, how did that change you or transform you? Or
that's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ever. Yeah.
That was the first time you had met Cam.
Yep, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, we was supposed to go hang out that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were. What was your takeaway from the great Cameron Brown? What'd you think?
He was happy all the time.
Yeah, he sure was. What about you, Mike? What'd you think? You hadn't worked with Cam yet either, had you?
I don't know. I've seen him around. I can't remember if I had worked with him because I know Chad had him over a couple of times, and so I'd seen him around. He actually went to with Chad to a party that they had for a fundraiser at Diedrich. But my takeaway was I was younger than him by a couple of years, and man, just don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
it could be gone like that. And that was my takeaway. I called my best friend the night that it happened, crying into the phone, just told him that I loved him. So
good for you. Yeah.
I said it. I don't say it enough and still don't, but just don't take it for granted. It could be gone in an instant. So
yeah. Who's your best friend? Who is this?
Brett Meddy.
Shout out.
My age, played basketball. His mom watched me as a kid, so we've known each other from little kids to now. So
nice.
That's whose wedding I had to get back to.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. Mike had to leave fairly quickly after the Albuquerque project and get back because you were his best man.
I was in the wedding. Yep.
Great. Very cool, you guys. What does the future hold? You guys are pretty busy right now in your corresponding areas. What does the future hold? I know Chad's got a lot of work going on. He's got a lot of Fresco. He's got a lot of stuff coming up. Are you going to collaborate more with him, Jessie?
Oh, I'm sure I will. Sure I will. I've already talked to Jay too, and I'm going down there after Charlotte, right about 2 weeks after Charlotte. I'm going to go down to Clarksville and do a job with Jay.
Shut up. You're going down and you're going to work with Jay Doubt.
Yep.
You better have your shirts ready by then, buddy.
I know, right?
That's cool. You guys going to do any fresco, or is it just a drywall job?
Fresco ceiling.
Cool. That should be a ton of fun. Are you bringing the wife?
Yep. And the kids.
Cool.
They're gonna have them a little vacay on their own while I go work.
There you go.
And then I think he's got a car show that weekend too, so we're gonna stick around for his car show.
Cool. Yep. That should be fun. The Fresco adventures live on. Mike, what about you, man? You got sample boards behind you there. I like that backdrop. That's pretty nice, buddy. What colors do we got going there?
We got Lone Azul, Tatum Wheat. That's the sample boards from Albuquerque. The sanded Patterson Snow.
There you go.
JJ Ash, and then Apicada Gold. I don't know how to say
Apodaca. It's one of the oldest families in coming out of New Mexico. Apodaca is a Spanish. It's like a conquistador.
We've got Patterson Snow all the way over here, and then Sahara Nevada. I'm actually doing on my next job starting next week, so I'll be
great color.
Getting Fresco Harmony after this and ordering some color. So
there you go, buddy. Well, if you order before 12, it'll go out today, man. Maybe.
I might have to do that.
Very, very cool. Sahara Nevada. That's a cool color too. Nice light yellow. It's a very chill yellow. Great colors. Tatum Wheat's great too. That's a good one. Yeah. It's sort of a Dijon, like a light Dijon. Very cool. Lone Azul's classic. JJ Ash is like the quintessential gray. So you've got a good palette there. And I noticed you use like a strip of tape around your sample boards. That makes it look really clean and nice. And you're using Masonite?
Yeah. Yep. That's the first time I've done it on Masonite, and I won't ever go back to using drywall. So.
No, it's clean and nice. You know what I was thinking too? You could even spray paint the Masonite white, and then you'd have a white border. That'd look cool.
Yeah. One step at a time.
Yeah, I just cut up 4 sheets of Masonite. We've got just like
that gets everywhere. Cutting that out.
Yeah, you want to do that outside. That's an outside activity. And wear your grubbies because you're like, it turns you brown. And I was wearing respirator headphones and then eye protection too, like because it's just airborne. Yeah, very cool.
I would say I would like to keep doing like Chad had Jessie and I over recently. I would like to start doing more houses of just Fresco and just tag team all 3 of us. I have so much fun whenever we all work together. Just shit all day. It doesn't even feel like you're working.
Things go by so fast.
Oh yeah, and we knock a lot of stuff out, us three, and then his crew too, Ethan and I don't know, it was Alex and Jacqueline. So
yeah, they're getting good. They're getting pretty good at it. Ethan was good, and then Ethan and Chad and Alex and Jackie came down and worked, and on that same project, yeah, we had a good time. They knocked a bunch out. We learned about bullnose. Showed you I was doing bullnose yesterday with that little bullnose tool.
Yep.
East Coast into Canada, they don't have a lot of bullnose, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to do, and it's kind of a unique challenge. Miss you guys. That was a lot of fun down here. Jessie, pearl of wisdom that you can bestow on the drywall community. What do you got?
Oh man. It is all right to learn things from other people. Everybody thinks that they know the way they do things is the only way to do it, but it definitely is not. There is all kinds of ways to do things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun to get to, it makes me think of the bullnose. And so Mike, you were doing like a little bit of the bullnose, and I went in because it's like, doesn't occur to me, like I've been doing this so long, I've learned so much over the years that like doesn't occur to me that like, oh, Mike doesn't like, there's ways that I do bullnose. It's pretty fast. Right. That I can knock it out quick. I remember showing you like that, a couple of tricks on that bullnose, and it just like speeded up the whole process of bullnose, and then I learned that trick from a dude that was working with me, because I never used that little bullnose tool before him. And I was like, I tried it on a job, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is so much faster. Like, why did it take me so long, to learn? So always be open. I love that. You never know when that apprentice or that person that's working with you is going to show you something. Doesn't matter what stage they are in their career. They be open, because they might show you something that you didn't think could work. And especially with Fresco Harmony too, I'm learning stuff all the time from you and Chad, and you guys are doing cool new things, and other applicators. Mike, your pearl of wisdom.
For being 27, I do a lot of traveling with softball and with the adventures. And my dad always, I'll give him a shout out. My mom's against the traveling, but she's kind of gotten used to it. I would say with the Cam incident, it's really stuck with me. It kind of hit home. But if you get a chance to do something, go do it.
Yeah.
Because you might not get the opportunity to ever do it again. You never know what's going to happen.
That's right.
Been taking advantage of like the North Carolina coming up and going to Albuquerque, and hopefully Jessie and I can get out to Santa Fe and do that project for you out there.
Yeah, I haven't heard back from that dude. Is like, it's always like far and few in between. I have a meeting tomorrow, Friday. A builder wanted to do, so he might be looking at a house, but I don't get those big ones very often, man. They don't come around, But right. I'd love to have you down. I've done a couple little ones, I mean, the one yesterday I was on the job 9.5 hours. I can't tackle these big houses. Otherwise, I'd be promoting more and doing home shows. Like, I mean, you guys should go to like St. Louis and do a home show. You should like pool your resources and, or whatever big city is close to you, because you would get.
Mount Vernon actually just had a home show like 2 weeks ago, and. Yeah,
I mean, they're like $500, $700. I think you can get a corner booth for $1,000, and you'll make that in one job. Like, because you got all these the homeowners are key. They pay, like, the builders can be a pain. Homeowners pay on time. They're happy to have their walls covered. They don't even know that you can cover up that ugly texture. And they're just blown away when you do a nice clean home show, and you've got the walls, and you've got they're amazing. I would still be doing them if I wasn't selling the product for sure. Yeah. Well, you guys, it's great to see both your faces again. Thank you so much for being on the Drywall Podcast today. We got a twofer. That's kind of cool. Mike out of Dietrich or close to Dietrich, and then we got Jessie out of Wayne City.
Yeah.
Metropolis. How many people live in Wayne City?
Wayne City, altogether, I think there's about 1,800 people. Yeah.
What about where you? Yeah. What about where you're at, Mike?
I don't even know.
You don't even know.
I'm terrible with populations.
Population numbers. We'll have to Google
Dietrich
it.
Might be less than Wayne City.
Yeah, a little less. Yeah, just huge. So. Huge.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
Ever since I've come back from Albuquerque, my girlfriend's kind of annoyed with me because all I talk about is Fresco.
I'll bet. Yeah, that's common, dude. Get used to that. You only got about 2 months of talking about Fresco before she's like, dude.
Yeah. So what do you like to do for fun, Fresco?
Dude. And play softball. Mike is on a extremely good softball team. He's very athletic. And also the 75-day thing, that's really cool. That's great that you do that. And you were talking about the bars. That includes no drinking during that time, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. No drugs, or do you take any type of supplements?
No drugs.
No drugs.
No drugs. No alcohol.
Vitamin.
I take vitamins and greens, but if anybody that's listening to it wants to try it, go for it.
Yeah, it's good.
I'll be starting on Monday, the 15th, so we can do it together.
Where did you find out about this 75-day thing?
I do a lot of podcasts, and the main podcast that I listen to is out of St. Louis. It's called Real AF. It's a lot of self-development, but it also does politics because I feel like being in business, you need to know what's going on with politics.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, Nick, you and I might not agree on politics. I don't give a shit. You're a good dude. I'm a good dude.
Yeah.
We can find differences in it. But
so that podcast follows Joe Biden really closely. You learn about Joe Biden.
He follows Trump really closely too. He holds everybody accountable on what they say they're going to do and stuff.
Cool. What's the name of that podcast?
It's called Real AF.
Real AF. Real as fuck.
Yeah.
Real AF. Very cool.
He created it. He was like 350 pounds and wanted to lose some weight and came up with it. So.
All right. Yeah, and I do appreciate you saying that too. I'm very I don't talk a lot about politics on the Drywall Podcast. We'll talk about religion a little bit, but I try to be very diplomatic. I want people to speak freely. I think there's power in that because we can talk about politics from a place of unity. I think we're constantly getting divided in this country, and I think the more that we come together, just like in the drywall community, the better. The more we can unite on all fronts and talk about money and talk about tools and tricks that better the trade, the more we're all going to do better and have adventures and travel. It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. I wouldn't know you guys if it wasn't for Fresco Harmony, and these drywall adventures and Chad. It's very cool. So yes, good pearl of wisdom. Thank you guys so much for coming on the Drywall Podcast today. We'll get to see you guys at AWCI 25 in Charlotte in a very short 2 weeks, 3 weeks. That's going to be super cool. I'm very excited for that. Look for me at the Mudskip booth, but we'll all be there kicking. It's Wednesday and Thursday, I think, are the floor times. And they're very short. The floor times are very short. It's like Thursday for 4 hours, Wednesday for 4 hours, Thursday for 3 hours, and that's pretty much the whole show. But outside of that, we'll be hanging out, having fun.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll be getting in touch for just some photos and information and stuff like that. It'll be cool. All right, you guys. You have a good day. We'll talk soon.
Thanks.
Yep.
All right.
See you, Nick.
Bye.
Special thanks to Mike and Jessie for being with us on the Drywall Podcast today. You guys are awesome, and I really appreciate it. Also, huge shout out to Columbia Tools for sponsoring the Drywall Podcast in the month of April. If you miss them at Build 25, you'll get more opportunities to see them because of their road show. Find out where they're at by following Columbia Tools on all your favorite platforms to see where they're headed next. And check out their tools in action. The best tools, the smoothest finished. Columbia Tools, making taping easy since 1979. Curious about coming on the Drywall Podcast and telling your story? I'd love to hear from you. And little caveat, you get a sweet swag bucket from our friends at CSR just for coming on the show. You can reach out to me directly at info@frescoharmony.com for more information on advertising, or if you'd just like to go on the show and tell your story. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Drywall Podcast today. I really appreciate it. I hope all of you have an amazing weekend, and remember, keep drywalling.